Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to Can I Kick It? Right here in WPGU 107.1. My name is Theo.
I'm Nick Hill.
I'm Shannon.
And we have some special guests in the building today. Introduce yourself.
My name is Cj Run.
My name is WPGU.
Ooh,
And
welcome back to both of you.
Yes, welcome back. I wasn't here when we had you guys, but they were. And I know you guys have been at it for a while. You guys have some new music coming out.
Yes.
So we're very excited about that. We're going to be playing that shortly.
And I believe we have a exclusive coming up later in the show.
You do.
So if you're listening, keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. But first, we're just going to ask a few questions, chat a bit, see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first, CJ, since the last time you've been here, do you want to just give us a recap on what's been new?
When was the last time I was here? That was
I think it was before you toured.
So April?
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I toured.
A long minute.
Yeah.
A long minute.
Right. Well, yeah, I went on tour for about 3-4 days. We did a little Midwest run, so it was Iowa City, Davenport, Iowa, back to Champaign and Chicago. Toured with a band, so that was really cool. Getting to see other places, having people know me in other cities was nice.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Wicker Park Fest over the summer. Summer Camp Fest also over the summer. Couch surfing Chicago over the summer. Being broke over the summer. What else did I do this summer? A lot. I hung out. Also, Alan and I, Your Beautiful Ruin, we both made. We've been making a lot of music all of 2018. So we put out we tried to do a song a week during the summer, but it was hard just because I was traveling a lot. But a lot of content was made. So
yeah. I was gonna bring that up. It was there was a period during the summer when it was just song after song after song,
Mm-hmm.
but then it kind of went quiet for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been quiet kind of since then, right?
Yeah. Just because I've been trying to figure out what lane I wanted to go into, what. Making sound with purpose, not just making a song and then putting it out. It's this is hot, let's go. So just kind of also honing and perfecting the craft of writing music instead of just making it to put out, making music for the sake of wanting to improve. So that's where I've been at.
And then did you land on kind of what path you want to go down?
Yeah, I feel working with Alan has been instrumental to figuring out how I want to sound and what it really takes to make a record that's made for your voice. I remember the last time we spoke, I always talked about how I would get beats from producers or whatever I found on SoundCloud and just rap on it. But with Alan, it's tailor-made to how I'm supposed to sound. So we take up both our sounds and are able to make something unique. Obviously there's a lot more I want to explore. There's a lot more we both want to explore together, but for right now the stuff we have is very very indicative of where we're both at as artists. So
Yeah. And Alan, you've been pretty busy too this past year. You were here for Loud and Local not too long ago with Adobo. And since then you've been working with a bunch of local artists, Isaiah G, Mikael, Louis Cason,
that tape with Adobo back then was kind of a springboard for me, I guess, into the local music scene here. I guess people
since then it's just kind of been nonstop for you.
I was gonna say, I think that was my intro to you, and I was okay, this is dope. And then when I actually met you, during that time I feel you were mostly working on his music, and I feel every time I see you now, you're working on 5 different people's projects. All these songs drop, and so every time I see you, I'm dude, that song you dropped, what the heck? And so I just feel that's all we talk about. So it's a really cool feeling for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's that like? How do you keep that in track, working with so many different artists and making beats for yourself, I'm sure, as well?
Yeah, it can be difficult sometimes just because I used to just seek out whoever I could because I just wanted the most exposure possible, if anyone had clout, I was after it. But now I've realized, it's a lot more manageable to keep it to a few artists and just really put my effort into them.
Yeah, and also you've got the clout now, so people are coming to you.
little bit, not really.
I know you produced for Truth, Trouble. or and then Chase as well over the summer.
Yeah, there was
I produced for Chase Baby. I have not linked with Truth yet.
Oh, okay.
Although I would like to. His last tape was pretty good.
Yeah, and I know that the songs that Chase sent us were the just beats. It surprised me that those are your beats, because I remember hearing you with the Dobo, and then I was listening to Chase's music, and I was like, well, this is really different, but it was still really, really solid overall. But yeah, so overall, I know we were talking about, last April, and where you were versus where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the biggest difference is musically? I know you've been working on a lot of things, but what are you most proud of?
I think the biggest difference is that I've let myself go more emotionally, and just as far as like not caring if it's corny or too in your face. I used to overthink how and what I was saying. Like, oh, is that too in your face? Is that too like, did I swear too much? Is my singing actually good enough to be like singing for real? And so these days I just don't have as many hang-ups about what I do with my voice and what I say. So I think that's just like coming into myself as a person and being able to just unapologetically express that is what has changed in the last year.
And the same question for you, Alan. Since you were last in here, you were kind of working with Adobo mainly, and now you've kind of gone on like 10 different paths at once, and also making your solo stuff. Which the song "Strawberry Cough," that's you performing on it too, right?
Yeah.
Was that
right.
the first time you like performed on a track you made?
Yeah, first time like rapping and singing on a track.
Yeah. So what's that like? Like, what was that progression like moving into, instead of just making beats, but kind of making your own stuff under?
Usually is when I'm like super emotional and I just feel like I need to just write something out, and just record it. Usually I don't, I try not to take it too seriously or anything. It's just something for fun, I guess.
Yeah. Do you have like, so I guess that kind of means like this is just more of an outlet. This is not really like, do you have like plans for your solo stuff moving forward?
I guess like when I write, I do put like a lot of effort into it. I make sure it's good, but it's only like when I'm feeling a certain type of way that I will write. You know what I mean?
It happens more like organically.
I'm focused a lot more on like my production, I guess, instrumentally. And over the past year, I've gotten like a lot more flexible, I guess. Like I've explored a lot more sounds.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with all the different people you've worked with. Yeah, when I first heard this track, "Strawberry Cough," I was like, man, is there anything this guy can't do? It's like,
But
it sounds so good, I have to
For
say.
Thank you.
It was kind of interesting because when we had Chase and he played before it like actually dropped his new music. I've listened to a lot of Chase, and I feel like, he had like a very distinct sound in like all of them. Like you could hear from, project to project. And then when he played yours right away, I was like, yep, this is Alan. Sounds everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I remember you and I talked once, and you're like, I'm not sure who asked you, but I remember maybe at like your house or something, someone asked you like, how are you so good at what you do? And you're like, I listen to all kinds of music. And like right away when I heard Chase's project, I feel like that was like that answer in that project. So
Definitely. That was when I used like a lot of sampling. And when it comes to sampling, like I usually like just sample music I like to listen to myself. And I think that's how you get the best like music out of them.
When you really feel it, like on a deeper level than just surface level listening. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll be right back with the interview, but we'll cut to some ads, and I think we'll play a song or two, and then we'll be right back with more Cj Run and Your Beautiful Ruin.
yeah. You're good. You good? You need water?
And we're back. This is Can I Kick It on WPGU, the alternative hip hop show. And we have two alternative hip hop artists here with us.
Hello.
Your Beautiful Ruin and Cj Run. What's up?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. It was real wet on the walk here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I've been like working on my intros to this show, so I was like drafting this one on my head. It's not very good, but I just want to try it.
You'll get
It's a
it.
work in progress.
It's real cold outside, but the airwaves are about to get real hot. How's that? Good? Bad? Thumbs down?
I'll give it like
C+.
a 4 out of 10, probably.
I'll work on it. We'll check back.
We'll check back. We got another intro coming.
But anyways, yeah, you have a new song to debut coming out officially this Friday.
Yes.
But we're going to play it on this show early. So everyone listening, you're getting a sneak preview.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Like, yeah, what was the thought behind it? And like, just, yeah, anything you want to prep the listeners with about the song.
I do believe we started with the beat, right? I think Alan made this not with me in mind necessarily. I think you were just doing what you do.
Yeah.
And then I heard it and I was like, like it was a bit trappy. Sounds like the 2013 wave of like SoundCloud trap stuff. And I was like, like this is different, but I could have fun on it, like
I was a little surprised at first when you said you wanted it, but
yeah, I mean, me too, but we did it. So like, I just thought, okay, I can do some bragging lines. I can make it fun. And there's a lot that really goes into it. Actually, after playing it would probably be better to kind of talk about what went into it, because there were a lot of stages with like the creation of it. But I wanted to brag a lot. I wanted to have fun. Wanted to make something people could dance to, because I wanted more dance music for people from me. So, yeah.
And is this going to be an album cut?
Yeah, so Nothing Like You is a single from our collaborative EP, Here For Now, which will be coming out on March 1st.
Put that in your calendars, guys.
Yeah, and everywhere, so Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, etc. So, yeah.
Nice.
How long have you been working on this whole project?
Well, Alan and I have been working together for a year, since last January, and so it wasn't really, it's just a culmination of everything we've made in like a year. I think both of us together, we probably made about maybe 20-ish songs. And so, I've been sitting on music for a minute, and so like this year is kind of a year of like, okay, execution, trying to like reinvent, rebrand. So we were just like, okay, let's drop an EP, pick the best ones, made some extras. So we didn't have it in mind. It just kind of accumulated with just picking and choosing everything we've already made. So, yeah.
Dope.
And was this like, so this, Alan, you made this beat not with CJ in mind?
Yeah, not initially, because like usually, like I don't make like trap beats specifically for CJ.
So this was just kind of like an experiment?
Yeah, but like the more I thought about it, the more it really made sense to make it with CJ.
And then is this a direction you want to continue down with CJ or with other artists, or?
To be honest with you, I think trap music is on its way out in like the next 5 years. Yeah, totally.
That's a hot take.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to agree, but I think it's just gonna evolve into something else. Like the sounds are gonna
actually, that's a better way of putting it. Yeah,
the sounds are gonna
cool.
stay, the drums, the kind of the rhythm of it, but it's just gonna evolve into something else. And I guess we're gonna find out what that is by making that music.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, CJ. You're in Champaign right now. Are you currently enrolled at the U of I?
No, I haven't been for the last year.
Oh, okay. So you've just been in Champaign making music.
Yeah, making music, trying to plot for the next move. Figuring life out as a 20-something-year-old.
I know when we had you on air a few times in the past, I guess that was like our main focus was like you as like a student artist and stuff like that. So I guess like now that you've taken a step back from like the student life, how has that helped you, figure out your sound, work on music more? Obviously you have more time.
Yeah.
But aside from that.
Well, definitely living the whole like struggling artist thing where you're like trying to balance like a 9-to-5 and like trying to work and make money until music can make you that money. It has been cool, like, because I feel like I've been a student since I was 3 years old, so it's interesting figuring out your identity and like literally letting yourself breathe. And you're like, wait, I don't have classes or a professor to answer to right now. I could wake up at 12 today and make a song, or I could wake up at 8, and that's literally my decision, and no one's gonna like, you literally are your own boss, and you literally got to tell yourself, you got to get up, you got to go to studio, you got to go do it, which has been fun, being able to treat this like a hobby and a passion, but also as like, this is your job, this is what you said you want to do, this is why you left school, then okay, get up, go do it, so it's been fun. And also just it's been a struggle also, but I cannot do anything else. So this is what I'm gonna keep doing.
I mean, it's kind of like, if you really want that next step, this is the risk you have to take,
Right.
giving yourself really like no other option but to do what you're best at, which is make music.
Right.
Which is, if you look, that's how like a lot of the biggest I guess stories or the biggest upcoming artists, you look at what they did, and if you think back to what they did, they would probably tell you that it was stupid. But since they worked hard, and since they're meant for the job and they're talented, it was right for them.
And I gotta count my blessings, because like obviously there are a lot of artists that come from a lot more dire straits than me. People live on couches for years or hustle and do this until like 10 years later finally people hear them. But I'm blessed to have like a lot of support systems being on campus. I got my family. Also just like I already have people listening to the music, so even if I'm not like big and major, there's still people from different countries that will hit me up some days and be like, oh my god, like this is great, when you coming out, like. So you just keep the faith and hope that what you're doing makes sense. So
And then since you stopped being a student, have you found that your audience has changed?
I don't know if that has anything to be with being stopping being a student. I think just as social media and Spotify algorithms will have it, the audience has grown a lot. It's funny because I feel like I didn't shy away from campus life since when I was at U of I, like freshman to junior year, I worked at a residence hall. I was performing everywhere. So I was definitely here. But nowadays people are like, think I'm like from Chicago and come here on the weekends. Or some people are like, wait, Cj Run went here, but you had econ with Cj your sophomore year? And people are like, yeah, like Cj went here, like. And so it's weird how like nowadays people, I'm a bit of a myth when I'm like, I live off Greens. Like, so
Yeah, once you step out the bubble.
I'm curious about that. Chicago is probably, there's a lot, I would say, more opportunity just because there's more people. So what makes you stay in Champaign rather than live in Chicago?
Money.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like financially, if I could afford to go live in Chicago right now, I'd be there, but I cannot. So I'm here for now and I'm working with it. And I'll be in Chicago next week actually for a show, and I'm trying to like do that commute process until I can like fiscally like afford to be there full time. Yeah.
And I would think that since you were here for so long beforehand, you have a lot of connections, and just like the energy is right here, you're comfortable with it,
right? Like I mean, on this whole EP, like literally like so much of the Urbana scene had a hand in it. Like Alan produced every song, Shravan, who plays drums for Open Hole and the Data Waves, literally drums on a couple tracks. Aditya plays bass. Like all of my resources are pretty much here, which is like, shout out to the university because it brings so many different kind of people here that musically like everyone's out here. So I'm going to utilize being in Champaign for as long as I am here. And, sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I can't wait. Like, why aren't I in Chicago yet? Like, oh, I should be here. But, like, you got to take one step at a time, So.
Yeah, and also, like you said, Champaign has no shortage of musicians and inspiration.
Exactly.
And we're going to play the new track soon. Ooh. But normally we always have the segment on the show where we just talk about what music we've been listening to lately. And I wanted to ask you guys, you can say maybe an artist or just like an album you've been listening to lately. Okay. It doesn't have to be hip-hop, any genre.
Should I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I've been listening to an artist named Coltrane for a minute. Coltrane. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Coltrane is like, and I think one of the reasons I resonated with him is because he's like born to, I think, like Egyptian and American parents, but he's like, but he was born in the UK, so he also has a bit of a funky accent, and his influences are definitely very like transatlantic. He's like 19. His project Boot is real good. The song Resume and Tyler are really good, and he's just been on replay for a minute. So Coltrane, yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
All right.
Alan?
I've been listening to a lot of like the UK jazz scene, like Kamal Williams, like Yusef Days, like Ezra Collective, like that sort of scene. And
like for both of these artists that you guys mentioned, do you pull from them in your music that you make, or is it kind of just like
stuff you
like?
Yeah, I've been like, my production's been really inspired a lot lately by jazz and jazz fusion.
That's cool.
I'm not sure if I would say inspired by Coltrane because I've just found him like a couple weeks ago, but it's always interesting because as a musician, I feel like I don't find a lot of people that make music in the same way I do. So sometimes hearing like the way people say things and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of how I do it too. It's like it's very reaffirming, like representation almost. Like that's a similar field. I'd love to work with him. I could see us being on a similar lineup. It's cool to hear people that sound kind of like me. So yeah.
Yeah, I always imagine like I don't make music myself, but like if I was to make music, listening to music from that different perspective of like just like hearing it from not only an enjoyment perspective, but also like picking things out that like, oh, this person does this thing in this way, but I've never tried that. It's interesting the different ways.
It definitely changes how you listen to music.
Yeah, it just really like, kind of opens so many doors. Well, is it time?
Ooh, it's time. All right.
It's time. Let's play a song.
This is Nothing Like You.
Let's hear it.
In your playpen musically, I'm demonstrating how I came in with the heat. All the world got on rotation, patent pending, starting, ending. Who's pretending I ain't hot? Swear this verse is never ending. Someone tell me when to stop. Break it down to the ground again. Pick up the pace and start again. Off to the races, hold on your laces. Wreck up the place, bring all your friends. Hey, what you trying to do today? I'ma take over the game. Cop a jersey for my friend. Save the change for rainy days. You're too good, that's the reason that it's bad. I might be talking shit, but you're the best I ever had. I get it, how I live it, and I ain't the one to brag, but I'm everything you're nothing, that's the reason that you're mad. I ain't nothing like you, 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 I ain't nothing like you. If everything starts and ends in C, I'm a cryptic, sick, contortionistic. Bend it all back, then forward. Flip this pretty young boy with a cranberry vodka, cause I gotta watch them beauty eyes. What you don't know don't hurt, I prefer to deter my social suicide. I ain't scared of poltergeist, but if you're trying to bring some shit up from my past, everything is who I am and who I was. If she call me, lay me on her bedroom floor, give her more than enough. Why the hood girl? CJ, you're too good, that's the reason that it's bad. I might be talking shit, but you're the best I ever had. I get it, how I live it, and I ain't the one to brag, but I'm everything you're not, and that's the reason that you're mad. I don't do this shit for nothing, yeah. Wait, I don't do it for.
What is up? We're back. You're listening to Can I Kick It on 107.1. I kind of almost forgot the numbers. Wow.
Yeah.
That was CJ's new song,
Nothing Like You.
Nothing Like You. You heard it first here.
The airwaves are hot now.
Thank you.
So now that we've heard the song, oh yeah, okay, so all the way around.
I'm sorry.
No, honestly, that made it better. Honestly,
That paid off.
Yeah, it paid off. All the way around. All right. So now that we listened to the song, we can get into it. So that was the thing that stood out to me most was the change up.
Okay.
The switch up of the beat. It went from like kind of like it was like a more like SoundCloudy trap rap into like this like Euro club step type music. I'm not sure how to describe it, but what was the thought process behind that?
Behind the
change up?
Well, so in my head, I always think that like with dance music, it's nice to have two different kinds of dance, because with the trap stuff, you can definitely, there's a certain way you move to it, but when house music comes on, there's also a different way you want to move. So it's cool to give people both of that in one song. But Alan may have other thoughts as how he came up with it.
As soon as the words house switch up were mentioned, I mean, it was set in stone. I was like already on it.
Were those two different beats at first and then you combined them, or you kind of played it
Nah,
as
they're
one?
actually if you if you listen close, they're like the same chords in both sections. So like I initially had some other like switch up, but like neither of us really liked it. So we played around, and I used those chords, and then I put like that house beat over it.
Because it wasn't necessarily about making two separate beats. It was genre flipping, because it's literally the same chords, but just you change the drums.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's so cool that like just by like the same progression you can make the song sound so different just by changing the way the instruments used and stuff.
And also, I noticed about your voice, there's a lot of reverb on it. I think like more than like
I love the echo.
Yeah, what was the thought process behind that? It just sounded better. You thought it was a bit more smooth with the mix, or?
Yeah, I mean, just as far as like, so I feel like I'm pretty dynamic with my voice, and I can sing and I can rap. So in the bridge, the CJ, you're too good. It's like I wanted it to sound other than me, because the rapping part is very like, is a bit static, and it just sounds like my voice. I'm that, they, them, in your playpen. Like it just sounds pretty like normal, and I wanted it to just have a distinction, to almost sound like it was someone else singing, even though it was still me.
So it was like someone talking, kind of like.
Yeah, like
that was the one asking the question.
It was almost like featuring myself, but just in a different way.
I like that a lot. I really do.
What do you want people to take away from this song?
I want people to take away that being different is fun. Being different is cool. I think that's the message of most of my music, is just that you can be yourself in the way that is yourself and celebrate yourself. Especially as a rapper that is not a straight male, the way that I celebrate and brag on myself is a lot different to how they would. So I like to give people bars that can affirm their own identities. The song literally starts out as, I'm that, they, them, in your playpen. Musically, I'm demonstrating. It's like, you know, like other rappers can't say that about themselves because they don't use those pronouns, you know. So it's just like, it's just you know, celebrating yourself, and also like you know, being in a very male dominated industry, sometimes you feel like you want to conform and you want to be like them, and you hate how you stand out because it makes you so different. But I ain't nothing like you, and it's like, it's okay to not be like them, you know. That's the basis of the song. It's just that. So make people mad in the process, but you can dance at the same time.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
After you said that, you know, like the beat switch up and it's like two different kind of dances, I could just picture everyone moshing and then just kind of staring at each other, like pausing, and then just, you know, doing their own thing afterwards. I just can't get that out of my head now.
It's kind of what happened at the house show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's literally like the house show.
Because everyone wants to bang their head and mosh, but then once the switch up comes, you want to shake your shoulders a bit, and that's like the point, is like different moves.
It's completely natural. It doesn't even, you don't think about it. It just happens.
Yeah. And once everyone knows the song, people are going to be waiting for that part.
But yeah, I think that getting back to how you are different than a lot of the people in the rap industry, I think that's something to, like, it gives you power, I guess, in your space, because there's not a lot of people that are like you, just like the song says. But I definitely think that, you know, if you keep going on this track, then people that feel like, you know, you feel that, you know, that I guess you're different than a lot of people in the rap industry, but a lot of other people probably aren't comfortable with that. Right. And I feel like hearing this kind of music will make them feel comfortable.
You know, that's the goal. It's just sometimes it feels like, if not me, then who else? You know, you could be like, it's definitely uncomfortable having to walk into a room and like being the only one of your kind in the room, and it's definitely jarring having to come out every day and be like, oh, by the way, I use these pronouns and I'm this and I'm that, and like you don't want it to be such a part of your life, because you wish you could just like, it could just be normal enough that you don't have to introduce it to people every time you speak to them. And it can get tiring. Sometimes I worry. I'm not worried, but sometimes it's like, I don't want to be the queer rapper. I want to be the rapper that just so happens to be queer. But in a like society that we live in, where like your identity is so identity politics are so sensationalized. Everyone wants, you know, the first this hyphen. And so obviously I can't really go through my music career without mentioning the things that I am, just because it's so important now to say it. But the takeaway also is just that I want people to know that I make good music. I want people to just click because, oh, CJ has this identity, this and that, and that's so trendy and in. Like, I want you to like the song first and then be like, oh, and they're this. Oh, okay, cool. Like, so just working on that as well. Just figuring out the balance.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Definitely paving the way. Yeah. Do you have any more questions, Nikhil?
I don't know. Do you guys have anything to plug? Any shows coming up or releases? Well, the song we said that's coming out this Friday. But anything else you wanna preview?
Songs coming out Friday. Here for Now comes out March 1st. 7 tracks, all produced by this guy to my right. A lot of different feelings, a lot of different vibes. I'm playing in Chicago on February 14th. There's a gallery out in Chicago called Trans Art Is, and it's on Valentine's Day, and it's going to be a lot of different like trans and gender non-conforming artists performing, so like visual art and also like music, which is where I come in. So if you're in the Chicago area or you want something to do for Valentine's Day, you should head up. And shows to be announced. Follow me on Twitter. It's Cj Run, Instagram cj.run, and wherever else you need to find me. So, Alan, you got anything?
Last time you were here, you were touring with a band, right?
Yes.
Do you have more plans for that, for performing with the band for this new music?
So with the way that the band, we've come to the conclusion just to like keep it a little bit more stripped. So before, if you notice, I had a lot of pieces like saxophone, keys,
Right.
Nowadays, we're just sticking with drums and DJ, just to have like the hip hop feel of DJ MC, but also the drums make it feel a lot thicker and more live.
Right.
So that's the setup for shows coming up. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Okay. Awesome. And Alan, you want to shout out your social media, where to follow you for all new music?
Yeah, totally. I'm WPGU on Instagram and on SoundCloud. I have music on Spotify now. I got the stuff coming out with CJ on March 1st. I have an EP with Louis K. San coming out on Valentine's Day, and I have my solo project dropping sometime in April.
Ooh,
A lot of big moves.
A lot
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah.
And if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Can I Kick It __ on Twitter, and on Instagram, Can I Kick It __ and to follow 3 underscores for
What's with
Instagram.
all the underscores? What's
You know,
happening?
People take our
Can I
names.
Kick
I
It?
know, right?
Can I Kick It is a
Who is
popular name.
We're
responsible?
still
It's
looking.
a popular name
Who?
for a show.
Anyways, 3 on Instagram, 2 on Twitter. If you want to follow up with all things WPGU, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, WPGU 107.1 or WPGU.com. And yeah,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your outro?
Yeah,
that's the
thing?
outro.
Oh, okay, cool.
All
I
right.
was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've worked on the intro a bit, but the outro is still
True.
rough. It's
True.
rough.
Can I join in? Can we all just go around? And
The airwaves are about to cool down.
Cool down again. All right.
Oh,
Anyways,
All right,
my
I
name
gotta
is
go.
Theo. My name is Theo.
I'm Nikhil.
Shannon.
Your Beautiful Ruin, aka Alan.
CJ Run.
And this was another episode of Can I Kick It?
Thanks
for tuning in.
True.
Yeah. That was